Am I streaming? Okay, I'm going to test to see if audio is going out because I'm not. Okay, yeah, it looks like everything is ready. Okay, so I'm going to start from now. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Min, and this program is supported by Vancouver Daily newspaper and myself, Pernod for education. So now I'm going to continue from last week. So as I said that this lecture series, the streaming series will be if I cannot finish on time, then I'm going to continue a week after. So it's gonna be continuum. Okay, so if you miss in the middle, then probably you need to go back. And when it comes to the individual topics, then probably like it'll take about either sometimes 1 week we will finish one topic, or sometimes 2 3 weeks that we're dealing with the same topic with the different ways or something like that. So uh, so each topic will be the one that we will deal with it, but in terms of the streaming, that I'm not gonna make it like every week that's with the set and then finish it, because I'm going to continue. Because the last time when I did with biology, that biology, if I try to finish it, then I didn't really kind of like I left some of the part that uncovered, so that's what happened before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go continue, and so that I don't miss anything, and then provide enough information so that if you are studying, then you can follow this and then continue on it. Meanwhile, that the first one is that as we started last week, last week we went through about the how the brain is really, I mean, study method and brain is evolved, have been evolved, and the way that the brain processes the information, right? So basically, what let me just go briefly review that part, and then we will continue on that. Okay. So generally, what happens is that when you have, let's say this is a box of your brain, and then let's say you have a lot of knowledge, but this isn't, once again, this is not simply the knowledge, okay? So as I gave you in an example, if even if you know something, right? If even if you know how to cook dinner, for example, pasta, that doesn't mean that you have concepts. You can talk about the pasta, how delicious it is, and you can follow the recipe exactly, and then you just can do it. But the concept is not something like that. Concept is something that you need to really have the reasonings. So kind of things that you can think of that. Hang on. Okay. Something happened in my streaming app, and it stopped streaming. Okay, I don't know where, now it is reconnected. I don't know where it was disconnected, so I'm not sure that which part that is missing. But let me let me go back and then just restate what I said. Okay, so the reasoning, the concepts, even if you know something, that doesn't mean that you have concept. Okay, if you are cooking pasta, And then you could talk about the pasta, how delicious it is, and what's in there, how it is made, and you can talk about it. But when you actually try to cook the pasta from the beginning, and if you are not able to really do it by yourself, you have to look through the recipe one step by step and then follow the recipe exactly, and then you finally have the dish that you uh, uh, finalize the dish. Then people think that this is something that you know about you know how to cook, but this is not something that you really well, you know how to cook, but that doesn't mean that you have the concept of the pasta. The reason is because if you to have the concept, not simply just following the method that what was said in the recipe, you have to have the reasonings of why the not potato, tomatoes are boiled and cooked, and why the skin has to be removed, or the why the noodle had to be cooked in certain the form, the range, certain minute, or why you have to put sometimes you have to put olive oil, or you have to put some what is the salt in it or something like that. And there's a lot of things that you have to have, which is reasoning. Okay, so reasoning is one of the key points that for you to have do for you to have the concepts. So without these reasonings, that means that you have it as a knowledge, and you are and then when it comes to the point where you have to stand alone, let's say as a pasta cook, you have to cook the pasta alone without any recipes or anything, then you don't know what to do, right? So this is not the concept. So concept is something different. So even if you're what you need to do is you need to have all this knowledge conceptualized. So you have to have the reason that why tomato, why I mean, keep saying the potato, the tomato, why you have to peel off the skin. The skin is because it is very rough, and if you even if you boil it, it's not gonna be really go soft, right? So there's reasons. So you have to have the reasons so that you know that what to do with those the materials or the ingredients. So in any field, like a medical field or technology field or wherever you go, science field, if you don't build the concepts, if you don't have concepts, then you're not going to be able to really move to the move advance to the next level. Okay, this is where the study is so difficult. If you are studying in university or the secondary schools, it doesn't really matter. If you are not able to build the concepts, then when it comes to the study, then you will have a difficult time because you have to memorize just as a knowledge. So basically, what it means is that if you have the pasta as a one of the topic that you learned from school, then you have to memorize each all the steps just with as a knowledge. And then when the quizzes or the exams comes in, and then when there's the all these steps were kind of tweaked, like let's say change the ingredient, like from tomato to potato, then many people will just got lost and saying that, well, I never seen this. How should I cook this one? Right? So these things will happen. So knowledge is something that you know you can talk about every day about the pasta, how you cooked, and how delicious it was, and then what does the taste look like. You could talk about it, but when it comes to the independent cooker, I mean independent cook, then you are not going to be able to really handle what to do with the different types of the ingredient. And when there's even cookwares are changed, then you might have some difficult time to figure out what to do. So that's all from lack of concepts. Okay, so This is one of the most important part for you to study. Everything has to be conceptualized. And then once it is conceptualized, then expanding concept is the next level. So let's say you cook the pasta now, and then now you extend that to some like burgers, right? Then what you need to do, you need to get the some of the information that is already known, right? And then you have to conceptualize it, and then you can cook the burger. You can make the burger, right? Or it's something like that. So whenever you have new concepts, then you uh, increase it. But generally, what happens is what people do is people just build the concept separately. Let's say this is a hamburger, then hamburger, and this is what did I say about this? A salad. Let's just say this is salad. Okay. Then you build the hamburger separately and salad separately, but you never actually make the connections to each other when you're cooking, right? So this is the one thing that you will have to do. Okay, whenever you build the concepts, you need to make the connections. The reason is because this is the power to provide you in future to think and explore something unknown. Gradually, you are building the skill. Okay, so the last week I think I left on the where I started talking about what is the real brain power of the human that we have, right? So that is exploring unknown. Exploring unknown sounds like easy, but that's very challenging. And as you can see in these days with the COVID-19 vaccines, that when it comes to the vaccines that the people get afraid of when they don't know what's going on with this vaccine with blood clotting. And from my readings a little before that the nervous system also being affected, but that's I'm not 100% sure that is really confirmed or not. But it seems like a nervous system being affected is one of the side effect of the vaccination as well. So these are the ones that the stories. If you face something unknown, then you'll be afraid of. You'll be sometimes you have to really gather all your courage to overcome the fear that what could happen in the future, something like that. So you can easily find some of the people saying that, oh, I'm not gonna get the that specific vaccine because it causes the blood clotting. And some people say, well, I think it's because probability is very low. I'm not going to be the one that the developing blood clotting, right? And then they go brave enough and then to face it. Some people say, okay, the probability being dead, being killed by the COVID-19 is a lot higher, so I will get the vaccination so that lower the chance of the getting infected of the COVID-19 or something like that. But all these are made made based on the kind of like a judgment that the individual think, but still because of the uncertainty that this judgment is not really logical, fully logical, right? So you have to think about it. And one more thing, if you are not able to really develop these skills in the future, you might be having higher chance to falling into the gambling. Okay, so you're getting into the gambling issues, then you know that what could be your life look like, right? You saw, you probably saw from movies, or you probably saw real life cases from your people around you or something like that. The reason is simply because of this. Gambling, let's say you're playing poker, uh, and let's say you're playing you poker with your friend, and you have a straight, and then you don't know what your friend holds, then you have to bet. You have to rely on the luck, right? You have to rely on the luck because you don't know what's in there. But this one doesn't cost you much, not as much as like in real life. If you, let's say you open up a business, and then if you are relying on the luck, and then if you fail, then basically you are losing entire money that you had. If you are really, really rich, then it doesn't really matter. You can reinvest it. But if you are not, then you probably lose everything that you have, you saved that for the business. But the gambling is not, right? Gambling, you're playing when you have money, and then when you have money to spare. So what that means is that gradually you're gonna falling into the trap, but in the beginning, that because of this one doesn't seem to be like a cost you much of the interior your life. So yeah, but still there's a excitement because yeah, you don't know, and then there's some uncertainty is there, and then you want to test your luck, right? So this is excitement. When you're exploring something new, that's excitement. But this excitement only guaranteed when these things are not really uh, uh, the, require your like a cost of your life. That's what it is. What the gambling is about. This because of that, you're kind of like enjoying the excitement. But in the real life cases, if you come back to the real life cases, then what you need to do is you need to really turn this exploring unknown as an excited process that makes you excited, right? And then makes your heart beating so that you are like kind of to see that what's out there, right? So this is what you need to do. But with this current system, the still you don't have with connecting concepts and building concepts, you don't still have the capability of moving towards the facing unknown because there's one more brain power you need to build. That is developing something new. Okay? So this is where I come with let me talk about Light Brothers who developed the who invented the airplane, right? They're the one that came up with the airplane idea. Now, the way that they could come up with this is my kind of interpretation of the history. Okay, so you have to judge yourself that if this story is real or not, right? So the when it comes to cooking, as I said, pasta and then salad and burgers, you can make a connection easily. If it is like a concept from the biology, which we already went through, then you can make a connections easier than anything else because biology is one topic and everything is connected together, right? So it is a matter of how many steps you go through to make the connections, but eventually you will be able to make connections. The same thing in the cooking area. If you are a professional cook, or well, you will, if you want it to be, or even in technology area, or even in the medical field, like doctors or nurses, if you started making connections of each different disease, for example, like a blood clotting, if you remember that what we did in the last part of the biology class that uh, blood clotting and diabetes, and I made connections and then say that how the blood clot will, how the diabetes will affect on the blood clotting and how would it make it the blood clot bigger and larger and then blocks the blood flow the easier than anyone else or something like that, right? So it is easier to make connections. And another example we had in biology was that connecting food with breathing, right? So you are breathing in oxygen, and then when it comes to the food, you digest it, but both will end up in the blood system, bloodstream, and then transport it into everything into the cells, individual cells, every in your body. Oh, I had this microphone up on the air. Okay, so and then what happens is when it comes to when they go into the cells, then these oxygen are used to break down the carbohydrate and then combine them together and then make a carbon dioxide, and at the same time you get the energy to use for your activities, brain activities and the physical activities and whatever that you do that requires energy. So this is the connection. So breathing and digestive system is a respiratory system and digestive system. They are not individual concepts. They are connected together. Okay, but these connections. So this is one of the things that having individual topic and then training in the smaller topic and then gradually increasing the bigger and bigger is one of the points. So that's why if you take a biology class, then you start with the cell and then go into bigger and then bigger and bigger, and then you increase the concept. That's what education system is providing, right? Now, so basically what that means is that even in the cooking, it is easier to make the connection among those concepts. Now, the Light brothers, when the people that they invented, they're the Light brothers, right? Is it Light or Right? I don't remember exactly. Is it hang on a second, let me just to make sure that I'm not providing wrong information. Okay, so yeah, I think it is a yeah. Oh, it is a Wright brothers. Sorry, so it's not Light brothers, Wright brothers. Okay, so when Wright brothers came an idea about the airplane, take a look at how they could develop this airplane, right? If you can think of it in this way, so let's say in this interior world, there's no bird or there's no any flying object, then would it be easy to come up with some idea about designing the airplane? Probably not, right? The reason is because there's nothing to look at and then how they fly in the air. And you have to start from the building from the scratch, then you probably you probably having very difficult time to how to make the airplane the wings, right? So the the first my kind of like the hypothesis is something like this. Light brothers, Wright brothers, not Light brothers, Wright brothers, what they did was taking observing the birds out there, like eagles or seagulls or something, right? And they looked at the birds, and what they saw is that they saw that the wings of the birds, and started thinking, okay, human don't have those wings, but if we have something similar, like the wings of the birds, and then if we have them, and then let's say just like making them move like flocking them, right? Flocking the wings, then how can we fly? Then you actually try it. And generally, here you see that this is the concept the is one of the things that you are kind of like a copy and paste, right? Someone brought up the well, actually copy and paste is more likely the knowledge learning processes. So when you learn the knowledge and then when you try to cook pasta and then when you get the information, the recipe from the some of the website or some cooks, then you probably have all the recipes there and then you follow it. That's copy and paste. Building concept is you are digesting the recipe on your own and then try to put the reasonings in there. Why to do this? Why to do that? And how much water you are using? Why? And something like that. You are building the concept based on the reasonings, and that's the building concept. So building concept is not simply copy and paste, but I'm talking about just a simple copy and paste. Okay. So if the Wright brothers or just copy and paste from the birds and the wings as a knowledge and then just mimicked it, then would they be able to really come up with the airplane that can fly? Probably not. They probably failed and then they say, oh, it doesn't work. I'm not gonna do it. Okay. They were able to develop the airplane. The reason is because they have thinking processes. Thinking. Okay. Thinking process meaning that they have to think to figure out what's going on. That means they have to test it and based on the result, they have to modify it. So basically experiment is in there. Okay. So they tried with the different materials and the different size and the different frames and they tried to get all these things to organize and then test it and then rebuild it and test it and rebuild it. That's the experiment. And to do these experiment processes, you have to have thinking processes. So this is real now started evolving the thinking processes from here. Kind of gradually evolving the thinking processes. Okay. So with these thinking processes, then now they can find something that mimic the birds and then they can fly. But still, so this is what I say. Well, I'm not gonna be able to, probably not in this the streaming, in this the lectures that I'm not gonna be able to provide the any training material to go up to this level because the most of the training material will be based on the concept building and the connecting concept among the ones that is closely related. But I'm going to show once in a while something like a different types that how you can make the connections, but not gonna be like a training material, providing the training material, because this one is the goal is providing the basics, the approaches in the study. So now the way that the reason that they were able to Wright brothers were able to create this airplane was because they copy but not just paste it. They have to go through the thinking processes and then eventually came up with this one, airplane, right? And the same story for the Steve Jobs. And I have said this Steve Jobs story many times, so I'm not gonna repeat. But briefly, in case of Steve Jobs, the typography and to the computer and developed font, right? This is the same thing. Now, as you can see, using these thinking processes by making the connecting concepts of two different birds and airplane to the airplane to develop, and the typography and the computer, and then comes with the font, is not exploring the darkness, right? You're not exploring dark area because they are there. You can observe and you can see them. And then you only thing you need to do is you need to make a connections, and then to make a connections you need to go through some thinking processes to go in. and you need to make the add this typography into some processes and then put it into the computer, something like this, right? So this is something that you can see from here, and this is how the entire human the history that the technology has been evolved, right? People the in the history they developed the rocket, they developed the space shuttle, they developed the what is it, airplane and jet plane, and they developed the car automobiles, everything. That's based on this. So the reason this one is the technology evolves this fast is because they are visible, they are observable. You can see them. Only thing is you need to make connections and figure out how to put that thing in as you think, put it in and make a connections and create something new. How they observe the birds and then thinking that about the okay, bird have wings and the wings are the key factors to make the key factors to make these birds to fly. Then how do I modify it and then put it in as for the human to use as to fly? Okay, these are visible thinking processes. So you don't have to explore unknown. You don't have to explore darkness. And at least if you are able to develop the brain power up to this point, then you'll be someone who like the Wright brothers or Steve Jobs or whoever leading the technology or leading in a given field, like such as technology or painting, art area, or medical field, or anywhere, science field, and even cook or the art, music, wherever you go. That means, in this age, you probably see that in the music field, there's a raps, right? Rap. I don't know how to, is it R-A-P? I don't know, rap. The songs that the people just keep talking with the rhythms, right? And so with raps, I'm not sure how to spell about the rap. Is it R-A-P or R-P? Should I find it? Let me see. Because I don't really listen to the rap songs. Rap rap songs. Is it rap songs? Rap R-A-P? Yep, I it is R-A-P. Yeah, so rap songs. So basically what that means is that you have two different fields, right? Rap and classic like the opera or something like that in classic, and then you mix them together, right? And then you need to use your brain and then thinking processes and think about how you can mix it and then where to put that, and then when classic and opera like the Phantom of the Opera then is playing, and then you try to think that where to put this rap in there, and then when you play it, when you create a new one, then you are creating new field, right? This is something like that. So if you not just in the any like a, scholar uh, like area where the all these research is ongoing, or the 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 people like doctors try to figure out how to figure out the cause of the disease or something like that. These are all based on this type of the brain power. So if you are able to develop this brain power, then as I said, I guarantee that you could be the one that leading the society in given field. But still, these will be the one that like leading the technology, and the bring it this will brain power will bring up the bright a lot of like fast and fast evolving the human technology, I should say, scientific technology, or whatever you call it. Okay. Now, still, as I said, this is not exploring the darkness yet. Unknown. The unknown is something like brain power, like this. So there's no bird, there's nothing flying in the air, but you started thinking about, okay, if I, let's say you have one like large piece of paper like this, and then you just like swing it, and then you started seeing, okay, this one is kind of like interacting with the air, and then this one just flips, and then when you throw it, it travels a little bit like about a meter or two further away through the air. And then you started thinking, okay, then can I, if I make a certain shape of this and then certain size, can I make some of these the material a little bit travel further? So basically like this one, you have a piece of paper and then you fly it, and then you saw it is just going back and down and then coming back down to the ground. And next level, what you do is, okay, I modify with a specific shape with a little bit different the size or something, and then try it, and now it travels a little bit further, and then you try, okay, then now with a little bit modify a little bit further, and then go further and more, and then eventually you figure it out, make you've made one of the object that travels like about few kilometers or even like 100 kilometers or something like that. And constantly thinking over and over, later on, you figure it out. Okay, with this one, then with enough energy, power, then can we have this object fly all the way to the and circle the Earth and come back to the right down where it started, right back into where it started. Right? Well, actually, Newton was came up with this artificial satellite by combining force and mass of the object and distance of the object traveling, and then with it, the Newton came up with artificial satellite concept, right? And this one I talked about before. Now, this is a different brain. Totally different brain, because now the for in case of the Newton and also the Albert Einstein also, what they did is they explored unknown general relativity was not there when Einstein thought about. He was the first one came up with the idea. After him, time travel concepts and traveling to other the galaxies with a faster than speed of the time, or the distorted space where you can make the time travel possible. Well, in the literally speaking, okay, you see a lot of the movies with the time travel and something like that. There's no such a thing as a time travel. And the you probably many some of you probably thought about like dreaming about, "Oh, if I go back to the time, then I could change my life or something like that. Back to the time like movies. There's no such a thing, because time is the concept based on the sunlight. Light, not just the sunlight, any light. So basically, without light, there's no time. Okay, and then because of that, you can see as you see that the current sun, and if you see the current sun, that's about 8 minutes past. So basically, you are seeing the past of the sun and past of the moon. So if you aim for the moon as you see and you shoot a rocket, you will hit somewhere else. The reason is because it takes time for the light to travel from moon to Earth. I think it is about, I don't know, I don't remember. It's about a minute or something. Anyway, something like that, right? So You could the Albert Einstein or Newton and these people were able to come up with something that didn't exist at all. So that means this is the another level of the another level of the human brain power. Okay, and this is not the end. There's another level of the brain power, which is I what I say is law of causations. Okay, but I'm not gonna talk about it because that's way advanced level, and then that's the requires all these brain power had to be built up to the point where because this to explore unknown, what you need to have is you need to have a simulation of brain power. Okay, simulation is a different set. So building concept is based on the knowledge, and then you're building gradually the more and more. But simulating is something you're using totally different part of your brain. You have to have a visualization inside of your brain together with all these concepts connected together. So this is a way more difficult part. Okay. So in as I said that these are the basic idea about how the brain is going on continuously going on. And then what I'm going to do, I think this is about, yeah, I'm going to stop about this because I already covered most of the basics, the overall processes that I'm going to do. And then starting from next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, first of all, the most important part is showing you how to build concept. Okay, this is the first. And then once building concept is done, building concepts are done, then connecting concepts. And connecting concepts done, then how to expand it gradually. And these are the methods that the basic method that I'm going to talk about. Once this is done, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that with the topics uh, I'm going to choose some of the topics. If you think that you think about one of the topic that you are studying, and then you are having a little bit difficulties, then you can send me an email. Okay, and then if you send me an email, then I'll take that as a topic to deal with it. And then in the beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to study language and any type of topic from the scratch, basically as a beginner. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so since it is past about 5:10 already, so I'm going to wrap up here and then finish for this week. And if you have any questions, you can ask questions on the chat. And uh, meanwhile, I'll just like about 20 seconds, I'll just finish up with my idea about. Okay, knowledge and concept is totally two different sets. Okay, if you're confused with the knowledge with the concepts, then you will fall into different topic. And if your study is more likely memorizing and then relying on your memory, then I know there are some people who have exceptional memory and they remember a lot easier than anyone else. But without conceptualization, well, conceptualization will increase your memory capacity. So, and there are some people who already have the built-in capability better than anyone else about the conceptualization capability in the brain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for the interior people who ever try to build these things and develop brain, then that's the methodology is the one that you can use. Okay. Okay. Since there's no questions, I'll finish it here now and I'll start. I'll come back next week. Okay. Yeah. Then I'll see you in a week. Bye.